gotta move on.
You know, I really did love you.
Such a silly boy.
Guess you're still hung up on both of them, bro.
I ain't hung up on nobody. Nobody.
Finn, in Adventure Time, is objectively the greatest hero in the history of Ooh. He defeated the Lich, he prevented the apocalypse, and he literally grew up fighting evil before he was old enough to drive. But there is one battlefield where Finn consistently, tragically, got his butt kicked. Love. For a long time, we looked at his romantic history as a simple list of failures. He chases a princess who doesn't want him.
What?
He manipulated someone who loved him. It's easy to look at that wreckage and think, man, this kid is just bad at relationships. But that's a narrow view. The truth is, Finn needed to lose those relationships. Think about his swords. Just like he had to break his old weapons to eventually find better ones. He had to break his old understanding of love to grow into a person capable of feeling it.
You know, you could beat me at video games more often if we lived together. Ooh.
But that growth couldn't happen until he confronted his first and biggest delusion. The mistake almost every young man makes, confusing love with idolization. Finn's romantic journey begins with Princess Bubblegum. For the first few seasons, Finn spent his days trying to conquer her with heroic feats, acting as her protector. Not because she needs one, she's a genius dictator. She's fine. He truly believed that if he fought enough monsters and saved the kingdom enough times, he would earn her heart. And that belief didn't come from nowhere. Because Finn was an orphan, abandoned by his real parents.
See ya!
Though he was taken in by Jake's parents, a deep scar lingers from that. When life teaches you early that love can disappear, you look for ways for people to stay. Childhood stories that influence you become a source of safety. And Princess Bubblegum fit perfectly into that fantasy. She wasn't just a crush. She was the proof he needed that if he played the hero correctly, he would finally be loved and belong. Looking back, this dynamic was doomed from the start. The problem wasn't just the age gap.
You were like a bazillion years old.
Though we saw how painful that was when she temporarily de-aged and too young, hinting that maybe, just maybe, they could have worked in another life.
Give me a hug, hero.
He saw her as a quest reward. Every smile, every compliment, every kiss on the cheek reinforced the idea that he was doing something right. That he was becoming a real hero. And in fairy tales, heroes don't get abandoned. They get the princess. That was his fairy tale. A story he wanted to live. He spent seasons acting obsessively, dealing with jealousy and rejection, because he was trying to win a game that didn't exist. He was confusing love with idolization.
Why do I keep trying if I can't keep her?
Effort with entitlement, service with ownership. Finn's love for Bubblegum was golden and flashy, the confidence of youth. But it was brittle. You cannot love someone you treat as a god. You can only serve them. He couldn't truly love her until he stopped worshipping her. Eventually, Finn matured. The shift is subtle, but you see it clearly in later episodes like Don't Look. When Finn's magic eyes turn everyone into how he perceives them, he doesn't see PB as a goddess or a lover anymore. He sees her as a teen heartthrob, basically just one of the guys. He began to see her mainly as a friend, building a relationship based on mutual respect. He accepted that she wasn't a prize to be won. But getting over a childhood crush is the easy part. The rejection he faced in Incendium didn't just hurt him, it left a void. Because once Finn stopped looking up at a goddess, he started looking down at something else. A relationship he thought he could control. And that is where the story shifts from childhood crush to teenage disaster.
I really did love you.
If Princess Bubblegum was the idol Finn worshipped, Flame Princess was the reality that burned him. Finn meets her immediately, courtesy of good old Jake playing the wingman, after being rejected again by Bubblegum. And when they meet, they fall in love instantly. Their love was a wildfire, and it felt incredible, because whirlwind love always does. It lifts you fast, makes everything feel brighter and better. But when it falls hard. And the reason this relationship had no foundation wasn't just fire. It was the inequality. Notice the massive shift in the power dynamic. With Bubblegum, Finn was the knight, serving a queen.
Such a silly boy.
With Flame Princess, he saw a mirror of his own abandonment. A girl locked inside a giant lantern her entire life, just like he once felt locked out of the world. For the first time, Finn held the power in the relationship. So instead of meeting Flame Princess as an equal, he approached the relationship like something that needed to be managed. He didn't accept her for who she is, a chaotic and free-spirited girl. Finn tried to fix her, make her good, but on his terms. She wasn't a partner, she was a project. This need for control boils over in the episode Frost and Fire. This is the most controversial moment in Finn's romantic history, and for good reason. He selfishly manipulates Flame Princess into a dangerous fight with the Ice King.
Did you hear that? I think he's like making fun of you.
What?
Just to get his fix, using her pain to trigger his own fantasy, to chase the high from prophetic dreams coming true. He tried to use her as a source of excitement, a distraction from his own emptiness, instead of respecting her as a sovereign person.
I thought you were the one person I could... I need some time alone.
This betrayal hurts her deeply and causes the final breakup. Finn learned a brutal lesson here. Love isn't about possession or control, and the consequence was immediate. He didn't just get burned, he burned down the bridge forever.
You blew it, man!
Huh?
Although Finn regrets it, the relationship could no longer be recovered. He had to learn that if you play with fire without respecting it, you destroy everything you built. But what happens when the fire goes out? You're left with a cold. And this is where Finn enters his darkest era. The era of the void.
What I really want to know is, how are you feeling, Finn?
What? Oh, I don't know. Burp, 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 burp.
When the fire finally went out, Finn didn't just get sad. He got numb.
I guess I don't feel anything. Blah.
This chapter of his life isn't defined by a single relationship, but by a complete loss of direction. Finn stops driving the car and starts drifting, letting anything else take the wheel as long as he doesn't have to feel what's underneath. When his relationship with Flame Princess hits a rough patch, Finn doesn't face it. He dissociates. In the pillow world, he retreats into a magical pillow fort and hallucinates an entire lifetime with Rose Linen. He marries her, has children named Jay and Bonnie, and lives until old age. It sounds beautiful, but it's tragic. He built a fantasy life just to avoid dealing with the pain of his real one. He hallucinated the one thing he lost as a baby, a stable, permanent family. And the moment he wakes up, he forgets it all. When the breakup with Flame Princess becomes permanent, the desperation gets worse. We see this with Erin the Caterpillar. In the episode Food Chain, Finn falls madly in love with her instantly,
Love is blind.
proposing marriage almost immediately.
Do you want to get married?
That wasn't romance. That was panic. It was the orphan's terror of being left behind kicking in. Finn was so terrified of being alone that he tried to latch onto the first thing that showed him kindness. And then came the rock bottom. The era of Breezy. By now, Finn has lost his arm. A physical reflection of losing a part of himself. Lonely and adrift, he tries to fill the emptiness by kissing every princess who once showed him interest. But none of it works. As Finn admits, the feeling just isn't there.
I'm lost in the darkness, Breezy.
He learns another brutal lesson here. Intimacy isn't the same thing as connection. Some voids can't be outrun. His loneliness was something he couldn't just kiss away. He had to stop running from the void and finally learn to sit in it. And that silence is what prepared him for the only relationship that could actually work. After the chaos of the fire and the desperation of the void, Finn finally reaches a state of balance. He meets Huntress Wizard in a way that's completely different from anyone before her.
Dang, you didn't even blink.
He isn't saving her, and he isn't trying to impress her. He's simply playing the flute by a river, open, unguarded, vulnerable.
Hello.
And for the first time, he didn't have to look up at a goddess or down at a project. He finally found someone he could look in the eye.
We both know you're totally in love with me.
Huntress Wizard represents the final evolution of Finn's heart, because she is the first partner who is truly his equal. She isn't a princess waiting in a castle to be served. She's a fighter living in the woods, just like him.
Let's keep it that way.
Real tough guy, huh?
When they first connect, she makes something clear. Whatever this is, it won't follow the traditional rules. In the past, especially with Flame Princess, that kind of boundary would have sent Finn spiraling. He would have tried to fix it, define it, lock it down. But this time, he listens. Instead of chasing certainty, Finn accepts a rhythm of closeness and separation. They connect, they part, and they return, not out of fear, but by choice. He realizes that love doesn't mean possession. It means trusting that distance isn't abandonment, and that someone can walk their own path without walking away from you. This dynamic is confirmed in Fionna Cake, where we glimpse their future.
Curious.
Marceline casually mentions them being back together again,
Wait, those two are back on again?
implying a relationship that's on and off for years. To a younger Finn, that instability would have been unbearable. To the adult Finn, it's just life.
I love you, Huntress.
She didn't need a knight, she needed a counterpart. And because Finn was no longer using love to validate his existence or fill a void, he was able to build something stronger than anything he'd had before. He let go of the fairy tale ending, where the hero gets the girl to feel safe.
Meh.
He accepted a reality where two independent beasts could simply be. And it's this maturity, this willingness to love without gripping too tight, that leads to the final test. A moment where Finn can't save himself.
Huntress Wizard.
That ultimate test arrives in the second season of Fionna Cake. For the first time in his history, Finn isn't the one holding the sword. He is the one incapacitated. And as he drifts in the space between life and death, a deep, lingering insecurity bubbles to the surface. Before he went under, Finn told Huntress Wizard,
I love you, Huntress.
and she didn't say it back. On the surface, Finn acted cool about it. He respected her boundary, but that silence planted a doubt that followed him into unconsciousness, one that kept his spirit from returning. He began to fear the one thing that haunts him, that he is unlovable.
Why do I feel so dump trucks? No one loves me like Jake.
He feared that with Jake gone, he had lost the only person who would ever love him completely. That no one else could ever fill that space. That maybe he's asking for something no one can give. It takes a heart-to-heart with Fionna, an outsider looking in, to snap him out of it. She forces him to look at the reality of the situation. Huntress Wizard didn't just sit by his bedside. She went on a multiversal quest to save him. She fought monsters, navigated chaos, and risked her life. Fionna helps him see the truth. Huntress Wizard didn't need to say the words, because the proof is in the way that she showed up for him. In the past, Finn chased Princess Bubblegum because he needed reassurance. He chased Flame Princess because he needed distraction. He mistook intensity and validation for love. But Huntress Wizard saw him at his absolute weakest, broken, dying, unable to save himself.
Why did you have to be such a stupid, blundering meat sack?
And still decided he was still worth the trouble. Not because she had to, because she wanted to. And in that moment, Finn finally understands something he's been chasing his entire life. He doesn't need to earn love. He doesn't need to force it. He doesn't even need to hear it spoken. Finn started his journey believing love was a reward for being a hero. And he believed it was something he had to manage and control. But in the end, he learns the truth. Love is simply a choice.
Hi, babe. Yep! X-Mod. It came to me in a dream.
Beautiful!
In the end, Finn didn't need a fairy tale ending or the happily ever after. It was about the shift. From a boy who needed to prove himself for love, to a man who could accept love simply because he was worth it. He stopped chasing the feeling of being needed and finally let himself be held. But there is a detail in that final act that changes everything. When Huntress Wizard brings him back, she doesn't just use a simple spell, she demonstrates mastery over the multiverse. Something older and far more complex. That act of saving him didn't just prove her love, it revealed her true nature. And if you want to understand exactly who Huntress Wizard really is, and how she pulled off a feat that even the most powerful magic users couldn't, click right here. See you in the next one, adventurers.